Hello and blessings, beautiful souls, Sarava and Ashe to you. It is Friday today. I'm just finishing up my breakfast and then I have a book to devour. I have made the decision to reread the Weave the Liminal simply because I'm now looking at it from a different perspective, and I'm going to take some notes and then I'm going to do a thorough review. Can't speak today. And that's exactly where my day is going to begin. So let me spend the next 2 hours devouring the book from start to finish, taking notes and doing that kind of thing. But with all of that said, how are you doing? Are you having a wonderful time? So nice to be looking into your beautiful smiling face as per usual. Happy Friday. Today is the last day of school for my little kidlywinks, and then we are on school holidays, and it's also the day before the weekend. So Fridays are ruled by Venus. They are one of my favorite days. They have been one of my favorite days forever. And even when I was a stay-at-home mom and didn't work conventional work weeks, Friday just held an amazing power to me. So I have a habit of always wearing either green, coral, or pink on a Friday. It is because I worked with the goddess Venus for such a long time and I can't break old habits like that, particularly when they work for you. So I'm head to toe in pink. Oh. And then you got to see my messy house as well. So that's exactly what I'm doing. Let's get started before it gets to midday and I haven't eaten. My hubby and I came out for lunch at the community, but look at the view. Such a pretty day out there today. We were just talking about how nice it is in Tassie at the moment. Tassie always has such a reputation for being really unhelpful weather. Oh, dear. And yeah, we've just found it to be really lovely. Like the autumn, the days are warmer, hardly any wind at all today. And then the temperatures are going to drop overnight. We'll probably have the fire on, which just creates a really nice, nice evolution of the day. And everyone sleeps a little bit better at night. So yeah, but a really yummy lunch. I had a bang bang salad, which was just delicious.
In London, drunk at night. In LA, picking fights. I think we have done it all.
We took a little drive up towards the back boundary of our property, which is just further down that way. But now we get to see the entire valley from here, and it's such a gorgeous view. And if you see out there, you will see exactly where the fire swept through. So all of that sort of like burgundy, sort of browny dark area, like you can see it all over the place. But what a spectacular view. It's absolutely beautiful.
She knows me in and out, love of a different kind, but we still
Right, so I'm back in my cottage, and do excuse the background noise. My husband's on the chainsaw outside. Thankfully, the witch's cottage has soundproofing types of insulation, and so it's not super audible here. Oh, got the hiccups. For the hiccups. Hang on, let me just get rid of the hiccups, okay? Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that are going on out in the community at the moment, and this whole Becky buying sage at Whole Foods meme that did the rounds and caused quite the uproar amongst social media because it did extract some polarizing opinions. And I'm one that rather enjoys a good debate, and I enjoy a polarizing opinion, but rather than tackle that head on, what I would like to say is that as I move to somewhat distance myself from neo-paganism, seeking to get back to my roots, which is something that I have spoken about on my channel before, and I will link it in the cards up here, I found myself venturing down paths that were totally disconnected to neo-paganism, to Wicca, to neo-druidry, to the things that many practice. And so I find myself leaning more into communities like hoodoo and looking into voodoo and Santeria and all of these other different types of traditions, along with sort of Cornish witchcraft, like traditional Cornish witchcraft and the Pellars and the cunning folk of yesteryear. And I'm really, really liking that landscape of witchcraft at the moment. But as I look there, I cannot help but look back at my neo-pagan foray and really, really show some deep and enduring appreciation for the religion of Wicca. Because when I came to Australia and I was feeling so disconnected from culture and so disconnected from heritage and family practice, the closest thing that I could find to that ritualistic, magical practice was in fact Wicca. And so when I began my exploration of neo-paganism in the 90s, that is, I found Wicca, and Wicca gave me a sense of belonging. It gave me a refuge at a time where I was feeling rather confused, and I learned so much by exploring the religion of Wicca, and I will forever be grateful. And I am so happy to see the influence that Wicca has had on many people's practices, because you see Wicca as the underlying vein of information underneath most literature that pertains to neo-paganism. If you were to walk into my witch's cottage, you are going to see staples of neo-paganism. You're going to feel a little bit of Wicca in my space because it's had an influence on me. It is not the be-all and end-all of my practice, especially not as I move more into my ancestral practice, but it is something that really gave me food for my curious mind at a time where I was feeling quite parched. And so I look to Wicca now, and I always have a tremendous amount of time for the practice of Wicca. I'm always curious about the evolution of Wicca. I am interested in the new books that come out, because despite the fact that I am not Wiccan, I kind of feel a little bit kindred to Wicca, because it did give me a good solid platform in which I met many, many of my favorite witchy friends, and it's just something that was just a really pleasant time. The one thing that I really enjoyed about Wicca was the availability of material. It was impossible not to come across a Wiccan book, and you would hardly find other books on the shelf. You would. It wasn't that Wicca was monopolizing the shelf space within bookstores, but you would find so much Wicca influence on the bookshelves at one time, and it was really, really hard to differentiate Wicca from witchcraft, as they were often mushed together, which of course then led to the argument of just because you're a witch, it doesn't mean you practice Wicca, and just because you practice Wicca, it doesn't mean you practice witchcraft. And I always found that to be really comical of an argument, but that's just me, and I don't have too much more to say on that subject. But I really would like to credit Wicca for all that it has done, not just for myself, but for many others during a time when the explosion of witchcraft was so new. It was like there was once upon a time nothing, then there was this explosion of Wicca and neo-paganism and magic within commerce, and suddenly you have an entire new world to explore. And at that time, the conversations surrounding Wicca were so different to what I see on social media and in communities today. Many people disassociate themselves with Wicca through some dissatisfaction that I care not to comment on because it's not my business to. But I see that many people have moved away and they've either embraced a more eclectic path or something entirely separate to that of Wicca, but that still has some Wiccan influence, because I feel that no matter where you look, like the books that are coming out now, eclectic books, modern traditions and modern works on witchcraft and goddess works and all of these types of things, they have that Wiccan presence underneath them. Whether you overtly see it or not, it is absolutely there, because such is the nature of neo-paganism. Wicca is such a strong vein within the massive umbrella of neo-paganism, and it has its influence in so many different places. And because so many came to Wicca and cut their teeth on magic through Wicca, then they have been able to sort of move out of the Wiccan practice, but perhaps go towards neo-Druidry, or even start exploring African diaspora traditions like hoodoo, and they will still have that Wiccan undertone, because that is the first example of ritual. Hi, Serenity! And so I just wanted to talk about that. I wanted to say that I'm really appreciative to Wicca for all that it has done, all that it brought me, all that it taught me. And I feel very warmly towards the practice and the religion of Wicca. And I honestly don't really enjoy when I hear others talk down about the religion of Wicca, because it has had such a strong influence on many a practitioner, many of which are my friends, many of which have gone on to do amazing things within their craft. And so, a bit of a weird video, but that is it. I just wanted to give my little ode to Wicca, because I don't ever hear people talk about it anymore. And yet, I bet you they've all got a book of Wicca, about Wicca, by a Wiccan on their shelves. I bet they do. I certainly do. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you today. Keep it super simple, make it super laid back. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today for this odd little video that I've put together. I'm so sending you amazing amounts of love, wishing you so much love, luck, peace, and joy. That's my daughter at the door. I have to go now, but please do take care. Enjoy your holidays. Enjoy your weekends. It's Friday here. The kids have just started their school holidays, and so I've got them home. So vlogging over the next 2 weeks is going to be pretty challenging. Nevertheless, I shall endure. Much love, many blessings. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, click that notification bell to be notified when I post a new video. Comment below any kind of opinions that you might have on the religion of Wicca, and how Wicca might have influenced you, or how Wicca in no way influenced you. Either or, I'm curious to hear. So there you have it, beautiful souls. Much love and many blessings. Mwah.